Welcome to Codebreaker.
Today, we're going to be discussing one of the most important components of a computer, the Central Processing Unit, or CPU. The CPU is the brain of the computer, and it's responsible for performing all of the calculations and operations that make your computer work. This video is divided into 5 parts: what is a CPU, how a CPU works, why do we need a CPU, types of CPU, and in the final, conclusion. What is a CPU? So, what exactly is a CPU? A CPU is a small chip that sits on the motherboard of your computer. It's made up of millions of transistors, which are tiny electronic switches that can be turned on or off to represent the ones and zeros of binary code. The CPU is responsible for executing instructions from the computer's memory and performing calculations on data. How a CPU works. To understand how a CPU works, let's take a look at the basic components of a CPU. The first component is the control unit, which fetches instructions from memory and decodes them. The next component is the arithmetic logic unit, or ALU, which performs mathematical operations on data. Finally, there's the register, which is a small amount of memory that the CPU uses to temporarily store data. When the computer is running a program, the control unit fetches an instruction from memory and decodes it. The instruction tells the CPU what operation to perform, such as adding two numbers together or fetching data from memory. The CPU then performs the operation using the ALU and stores the result in the register. This process is known as the fetch-decode-execute cycle, and it happens millions of times per second. Why do we need a CPU? So why do we need a CPU? As we've discussed, the CPU is responsible for performing all of the calculations and operations that make your computer work. Without a CPU, your computer wouldn't be able to execute any instructions or perform any calculations. The CPU is also responsible for managing the computer's memory and input-output devices, such as the keyboard and mouse. Types of CPU. There are two main types of CPU, the x86 and the ARM. x86 CPUs are used in most personal computers and laptops, while ARM CPUs are used in mobile devices and IoT devices. The main difference between the two is that x86 CPUs are more powerful, but also use more power, while ARM CPUs are more energy efficient but less powerful. In the conclusion, that's it for today's video on the CPU. We hope you now have a better understanding of what a CPU is, how it works, and why it's so important for your computer to function. If you have any more questions or want to learn more about computer science, be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.